Welcome back. You're watching ASEAN Challenge, and onto the ASEAN interview. We have a scoop about the recent jail term of the two Reuters reporters in Myanmar. Now, Amal Clooney, human activist and lawyer, has come out to ask for a pardon for these two.
ใช่ค่ะประเด็นนี้น่าสนใจแล้วก็ด้วยความที่เป็นอมันครูนี่ด้วยนะคะออกมาพูดถึงประเด็นนี้ทำให้มีคนจับเป็นประเด็นสำคัญเลยทีเดียวเธอเรียกร้องค่ะให้องซานซูจีนั้นเนี่ยเป็นคนที่น่าจะมีอำนาจที่สุดละในการที่จะปล่อยตัว2นักโทษซึ่งเป็นนักข่าวรอยเตอร์สนะคะข้อหาที่ถูกทางการเมียนมาจับกุมก็คือบอกว่าไปเผยแพร่เอกสารลับของทางราชการแต่เธอเนี่ยนะคะก็คือคุณอามาลครูนี่ซึ่งเป็นนักสิทธิมนุษยชนคนนี้ย้ำว่าจะเอกสารมันจะเผยแพร่ได้ยังไงถ้ามันไม่ใช่เป็นประเด็นสาธารณะและเรื่องนี้องซานซูจีต้องเป็นคนที่รู้ดีด้วยแถมท้ายไปว่าเป็นรุ่นพี่ที่เธอเคารพมากตอนที่เรียนมหาวิทยาลัยเดียวกันดังนั้นในประเด็นนี้คนที่จะกุมชะตาชีวิตก็คือองซานซูจีนี่แหละนะคะในประเด็นนี้มีรายละเอียดอย่างไรไปติดตามในอาเซียนอินเทอร์วิวค่ะ
The families of two Reuters reporters imprisoned in Myanmar have asked for a pardon, human rights lawyer Amal Clooney told a press freedom event at the United Nations on Friday, September 28th, as she pressed the country's civilian leader Aung San Suu Kyi to agree. Clooney is a member of the legal team representing Reuters journalists Wallone, 32, and Kyaw Soe, 28, who were convicted earlier this month under the Colonial-era Official Secrets Act and sentenced to 7 years in prison. She said the reporters' wives wrote a really heartful letter to the government about a week ago pleading for a pardon, not because their husbands had done anything wrong, but because it would allow them to be released from prison. She said Myanmar's president, Win Myint, would make the decision to issue a pardon in consultation with Suu Kyi. In a message to Suu Kyi, Clooney told Reuters, "You fought for many years to be freed from the same prison where they now sit, and you have the power to actually remedy this injustice today if you wanted to."
It was about a week ago, so the two wives of the journalist have submitted a really heartfelt letter just saying, look, we know that our husbands have not done anything wrong, and as you know, Suu has a 3-year-old daughter. At the prison, he can't, it's all divided by glass, so the only time he's been able to see and touch his family members has actually been during the trial proceedings themselves, and Wallone has become a first-time father and never met his baby. So the two wives have sort of written to the government to say, please issue a pardon, not because they've done anything wrong, but because this is the only way for them at this point to get out of prison.
A foundational UN document has the right to seek and receive.
If you look at the speech that Aung San Suu Kyi made when she received the Nobel Peace Prize, she said, "I am here because I was once a political prisoner." And her message was, one political prisoner is one too many, and she asked people to help political prisoners wherever they may be. Well, that's exactly the message that we have to her now, is to say, we have hope that you will do the right thing in this case, because these are not ideas that are being imposed on you. These are your own principles that you've espoused. You fought for so many years to be freed from the same prison where they now sit. And now you have the power to actually remedy this injustice today if you wanted to. And we're very much hoping that that's what she will do. And in doing so, not only put these two broken families back together, but also set her country back on a path towards the rule of law, towards a proper democracy, and to start to fulfill the promises that she made to her people when she got into office.
Let's watch a short video about these two brave journalists.
This case is about much more than just two innocent men. I mean, if you care about press freedom, you care about this case because it sets a precedent. So if these people are locked up, then other people are too scared to do the kind of reporting that they do. And the kind of reporting that they do is important for all of us because it tells us what's going on in the world. And it's, without a free press, you cannot have democracy because you don't know how to judge what your government's doing. And in too many countries around the world, we're seeing autocratic regimes lock up anyone who criticizes them and use a whole host of laws to basically criminalize speech and quash dissent. And you have to fight every single time that happens.
Publish the explosive story of what happened at Indin. We published those photographs too. Walloon and Chaucer gave us their full support.
I want them out. Every single day they're in prison is a terrible injustice and a terrible black mark against the support for free press. And free press is so important everywhere in the world. And we're really hopeful that she'll see that and she'll see the importance of press freedom in Yangon and make an important statement that these people should be freed.
It's obviously really difficult, but they are, they actually supported the publication of the story even after they knew they were in personal jeopardy. They are young, brave, journalists like Walloon and Chaucer are the heroes of our generation, and we must all do everything we can to protect them. But I think it's heartbreaking on a personal level. They really have the courage of their convictions, but at the same time, they're, barely 30 years old. They're being separated from the people they love, from their wives, from their babies. And I think we could all just relate to how absolutely crushing that must be.
Needs to feature squarely on the agenda. In a moment,
they know they did nothing wrong. They believe in the work they did. They've been very supportive of our continuing to do the reporting that we're doing. It's no picnic to be in prison for 9 months in Yangon, and we very much want to get them out, but I'm so impressed with how strong and resilient they are.
The Myanmar mission to the United Nations did not immediately respond to the request for comment. Myanmar government spokesperson Zhao Tay said that the court was independent and followed due processes in the case. The reporters pleaded not guilty and have been detained since December. Kyaw So-u has a 3-year-old daughter, while Walloon's wife gave birth to their first baby, a girl, last month. Clooney said he has not met his daughter. They had been working on a Reuters investigation into the killing of 10 Rohingya Muslim men and boys by scrutiny forces and local Buddhists in western Myanmar's Rakhine State during an army crackdown that began in August last year. The operation sent nearly 700,000 people fleeing to Bangladesh. A UN-mandated fact-finding mission said Myanmar's military carried out mass killings and gang rapes of Muslim Rohingya with genocidal intent and called for top generals to be prosecuted. Myanmar rejected the findings. Suu Kyi said at a forum in Vietnam this month that the case had nothing to do with freedom of expression. She said the reporters had been sentenced for handling official secrets and were not jailed because they were journalists. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres earlier this month called on Myanmar government to pardon the release of the Reuters journalists as soon as possible. The CPJ event also focused on the cases of imprisoned journalists in Egypt. Representatives of the United States, Britain, France, Germany, Australia, Lebanon, and other countries attended. The CPJ event also focused on the cases of imprisoned journalists in Egypt, Kyrgyzstan, and Bangladesh. Representatives for the United States, Britain, France, Germany, Australia, Lebanon, and other countries attended. The CPJ said a record of 262 journalists were jailed worldwide in 2017, with Turkey, China, and Egypt responsible for imprisoning 134 of those journalists.
And that was the ASEAN interview for you and wraps up our program for this week. We'll see you next week. As for now, สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีค่ะ